In today's video, we're going to be discussing why I don't drip the Yieldmax funds dividends. And if you stick around until the end of the video, I'll share with you what I do with those dividends instead of reinvesting them or dripping them. So we earn over $100,000 per year in dividends at this channel. And my performance and value shows that I'm up 36% for the year. 36%. The SP is up 15, the Dow's up 4, and the Nasdaq's up 31%. So we're beating all the indexes on a year-to-date basis, and we're collecting over $100,000 per year in dividends. This is the combination you want to see when you're trying to live financially free out of your brokerage account. If you're interested in seeing similar results in performance in your brokerage account and want to live financially free out of it, email me for my e-guides at akintodd48@gmail.com. When you buy my e-guides for $200, you get free access to my phone number to call me anytime at, and you get free access to Discord and all the channels within it, including the Cornerstone Rights Offering announcement section. And we have my daily trading recap channel, daily portfolio recap here, where this is where I spend my time at and give alerts on my portfolio when I'm not on YouTube. And there's much more. Okay, we have a margin channel for who has the best margin rates. We have a Canadian channel. We have a Yieldmax channel down here, and much more. Okay, so and if you're wanting separate access to Discord for $30 a month, I'll link that in the description below. So let's go ahead and get right into the video, guys. Here's the first reason why I don't drip Yieldmax funds. Okay, first of all, really quickly, I just want to say that we're up 1% today, which is in line with the indexes, and we're up 7,000. Okay, so where is this coming from? Let's assess this. It's not really Cornerstone today, although 2,500 is Cornerstone. Where is the rest of this coming from? It's coming from, it looks like, our Yieldmax funds. Okay, as we scroll down the list here, I'm going to go slowly for you because I'm on my cell phone. So OARK is up 2.5%. We've been buying that on the dips. Okay, it's nice to see that pay off. And then also Clip, that's showing some strength today as well. We've been buying that on the dips. NVIDIA, obviously it looks like it's having a new breakout in NVIDIA, and we haven't been selling any of that. I've been trying to rebalance that position as well. Okay, we're already up 8% in that. And just going down the list, what else is up? Microsoft is up. We've been adding to that. I was putting those alerts in the Discord channel yesterday in my portfolio recap section. I was discussing. I have some of my alerts here. I was buying more MSFO there. So nice to see that our Yieldmax funds are up, and they also give us great dividends. So we're getting performance. Okay, we're getting not only dividends of over 100,000 per year, but we're getting performance as well. Okay, and this is index performance. You know that the whole theme of this channel is using a little bit of margin and indexed themes to get more performance and income out of our account. For every $1 you put in your account here, you get $4 of purchasing power. Okay, look at that. It's almost $1 million of purchasing power. Everyone has this power in their brokerage account. I just use a fraction of my margin, as I say to all my viewers, to responsibly get the income that I get of over $100,000 per year in dividends. So you can see my margin debt went up here to 253. That's because I added to Microsoft yesterday, and I think you saw Meta in the alert there, FBY. So scrolling back up to the top, okay, going slowly. Okay, I'm looking at my percentages only. I only care about percentages. I'm not looking at days gains. Okay, so again, it looks like everything's coming from Yieldmax. And I see Facebook's up, so that's nice to see that as well. We've been buying that on the dip. Calamos 2.82, that's one of my favorite funds. That's a 5-star fund as well. I have about 5,000 in that. I wish I had more in Calamos, but it doesn't have a big enough dividend for me. Just like SPY doesn't have a big enough dividend, but that's up nicely. The whole market's up nicely, but it looks like our Yieldmax funds are outperforming. So CONY also 7%, so we're back to even in CONY. I would put more in CONY after the announcement today, the successful Bitcoin announcement. I think it has something to do with launching a new ETF or some regulation issues around Bitcoin. I don't know. I don't care. I don't care about the news in Bitcoin. I just care about having the exposure to the asset. No more than 3 to 5% of my portfolio is in Bitcoin. So we have CONY. We have 4,000 in that. And then also look at Maxi and Bitto. Bitto up 7 and Maxi up 8. So, and then we have sold puts on Mara down here in the options section, which gave us another couple thousand in premiums and also knocked down my margin by a couple thousand. So that's how we're playing Bitcoin. So I'm just going through the portfolio really fast from top to bottom just to see where this performance is coming from. We always want to watch the performance carefully and make sure everything's tied to the indexes. Because when you're using margin like I'm using, even when you're not using margin, the best way to get the performance is to tie to the indexes. No one can beat the indexes over time. Go look up the stats. 90% of fund managers can't beat the S&P. That was a famous line from Wall Street, Gordon Gekko would say. So I'm tying everything to the indexes, but using a little bit of leverage with margin. That's how I'm beating the indexes. Plus, these things move up with capital gains. Like you get best of both worlds. You get some capital gains and some dividends. So I guess we'll get into the first point of the video. Okay, I'll go ahead and give you, tell you without further ado, the first reason why I don't reinvest these Yieldmax funds dividends is because they're very volatile stocks. I've been trying to allude to this. I've been building up in this video about how they give us performance. They move with nice days gains potential here. I mean, look, OARK up 2.5%. Okay, so they're volatile. That means that OARK or TSLY can fall by 10% in a day because they are stocks. Okay, stocks have wide movements. Indexes, on the contrary, have smaller movements. So if you tie most of your money to the indexes, you're going to see less swings in your account and less headline risk in your account. Okay, so I feel like that's why dripping Yieldmax funds doesn't really make sense. Reinvesting the dividends just blindly doesn't make sense because you can get better opportunities in the open market to reinvest the dividends yourself. Okay, I manually drip the dividends in Yieldmax, you could say. And I guess you could say the next point to the video that leads me to my next point is, well, I use the dividends from Yieldmax to pay down my margin. So everyone thinks the strategy of using margin here is so risky and taboo. And I've been doing margin for years. I've been investing for 20 years, but doing margin for about 5 to 6 years. And I've never had any problems with it except when I over-levered to one sector like energy or real estate. And so here, what could be the problem, guys, if I have my margin, which gets paid down in less than 2 years by my dividends, all right? But let's say the Yieldmax funds give me their dividends and they pay down my margin. Where could the risk be? If my margin is paid down and then my equity grows by that equivalent amount. So if we have 100,000 in Yieldmax funds and the overall yield on the dividends is on Yieldmax is 50%, then we make 50 grand on that 100 grand, right? If we have 100 grand invested in Yieldmax. So 50 grand, my margin would drop by 50 grand, okay? Then my equity would be built up. Not only would my market value grow here by 50 grand to over 500,000, but my available withdrawal would jump by 50 grand to 230,000, okay? When this available for withdrawal number gets big enough, you don't have to worry about margin calls. People keep saying margin calls are going to come in a down market. Not when you tie to the indexes. When you tie to stocks, yes, they move 5 to 10%, and that's when I reinvest those dividends, you could say, for Yieldmax. Is when the market falls, I get a better opportunity to rebalance them there rather than just reinvesting manually, reinvesting automatically at the current market price. They move so big. Once again, I'm going to just buy when we get a bigger swing in TSLY, for example, and I'm going to really reinvest the dividend that way. So, and that way, I pay down my margin and my equity grows. So when my equity grows to 230,000, well, even when Yieldmax funds fall, the market falls, I'm tied mostly to the indexes. And even if Yieldmax falls, once again, we've paid back our debt. We're paying back our margin debt and building our equity in the process. So each time you get a dividend, you further yourself from a margin call, okay? And this high equity number allows you to live financially free out of your brokerage account. This is where I withdraw my money from, this available withdrawal number, okay? So I swipe my E-Trade credit card and checking card wherever I want in the world, okay? I buy cars, shoes, clothes, you name it. I can buy a house. You can do anything with margin debt. Margin debt doesn't show up on a credit check. It's low interest. My interest is about 6%. You can negotiate your margin rates down. You can click sell at any time and your margin's gone, but I just use the dividends to pay back the margin. Then there's no more risk. So I'm using all this extra margin to get extra income, another 50 grand in dividends from Yieldmax. That's why my income is about 150 grand. And this isn't even the true number. When the other funds show up like GUI, AMZ, Facebook, Netflix, CONY, and then Microsoft. When all those dividends register, this estimated income number is going to be much higher. It'll be around 150. Okay, so where is this coming from? Well, 100 grand of my dividends is coming from Cornerstone, and then the other 50 is coming from Yieldmax. So Yieldmax is paying down my debt by 50 grand a year. I don't mind having this amount of debt on because, even if I just paid with Yieldmax funds and did nothing else with my other dividends, my debt would be gone in about 4 years, 50 grand times 4, right? So I'm not worried about margin debt because it'll be gone and it's low interest, okay? And especially if it's getting paid back, well then then the risk is eliminated. You just have a bigger account now. But now you find out that it's not about margin anymore because now your margin debt is paid. What's it about? It's about your swings and you're watching the volatility in your account. You can't have too much Yieldmax exposure anyway because that's too much FANG exposure. Facebook, Amazon, Netflix, Google, these are very volatile names. So if you put your whole portfolio in it and keep going with Yieldmax funds, even without margin, you're going to see such wild fluctuations in your account that when we're in a bear market, you'll get severely hurt. In an up market, you're probably always going to do good. But in a bear market, you're going to get hurt. My portfolio weathers pretty much all storms, down markets and up markets. And, I anchor it with Cornerstone, as you know. So the third reason, I have 3 reasons why I'm not dripping Yieldmax funds. The third reason is because I can drip advantageously with Cornerstone instead, okay? The $8 market price, all right, is dripped. The 21% dividend in Cornerstone is dripped down at NAV. So why would I invest in Yieldmax funds, okay? Why would I drip them, okay, when they don't drip at NAV, okay? And I can buy them in the open market for a much more, for a much bigger price swing, okay? I can get much cheaper prices with Yieldmax buying in the open market when the market pulls back. Cornerstone reinvests my position for me. I don't have to even buy in the open market. Even when the market pulls back, I'm getting an even cheaper price than the market because they're reinvesting the dividend at NAV. Okay, 663. That's a 21% gain. 652, 23% gain. 627, 28% gain. So I'm only dripping Cornerstone. I get this question all the time. Now you guys don't have to ask anymore. Okay, people always ask me, what do you do with your dividends with Cornerstone? How do you pay your margin down? I use Yieldmax to pay down the margin, and then I reinvest the Cornerstone dividends. It's a 5-star fund. Why wouldn't I reinvest the Cornerstone dividends? They beat the indexes. So also please commenting in the section below saying, hey, Cornerstone goes down in price. Why are you buying it? Look at the price here. It's the blue chart. Okay, look at the graph. Okay, look, this is Cornerstone. It's beating the indexes. Okay, so that's why you have to factor in the dividends. You have to factor in the drip to understand why Cornerstone actually beats the indexes. Okay, because when you go look at Cornerstone on a real chart, you'll see here that it goes down over time. So you can see that there. But Morningstar shows a different chart because you have to factor back in the dividends, okay, and the drip. All right, so Cornerstone, you just have to learn how to play this fund properly, okay? You have to ask for the special drip in Cornerstone. You have to learn how to ask for that. You have to call your broker. And then you also have to time it around its rights offerings, okay? Closed-end funds have rights offerings every year, which drop the stock prices a lot. And so the whole key with Cornerstone is playing it, selling it before the rights offering, buying back after. And that's the advantage of this Discord chat room. I give you the Cornerstone rights offering announcement here. We have hundreds of members here in the chat room, all staying on top of this announcement themselves. I'm sure we're all just keeping each other accountable each day, sharing valuable information with each other each day about Cornerstone and all these other funds, all of our other brokerages, okay? Because not every brokerage is the same. So we have a drip channel for the brokerage, this Cornerstone drip channel, because, some people need to know which brokerage they can get the special drip and dividends, the special drip with Cornerstone with. And we also have an all things margin related channel here to discuss who can get the best margin rates and, talk about how to negotiate your rates down, et cetera, et cetera. We have a Yieldmax channel here. So all these channels actually come with your purchase of my e-guides. But that's what we started Discord for originally, was to give this alert for Cornerstone, the rights offering announcement alert. All right, now it's just blossomed into an all things financial freedom related chat room where we all share our unique experiences that we're having in the market and try to get ahead together and live financially free out of our brokerage accounts with. So I think that'll do it for the video, guys. Okay, those are the 3 reasons why I'm not dripping Yieldmax funds. All right, I can get better prices in the open market. I use the dividends to pay down my margin instead. And then why drip those dividends when I can drip Cornerstone at the NAV and get a much better price than the market price? Okay, if you like the video, click like or subscribe. And again, if you need any help living financially free out of your brokerage account, email me for my e-guides at aikentod48@gmail.com. And if you want separate access to Discord, I'll link that in the description below. And I'll talk to you soon. Thanks.